Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Hidayatul Husna with a metric number S58036. In this video, I'm going to show you on how to prepare a business process diagram and a program flowchart from the problem 3.4 and 3.9 in the textbook. So without further ado, let's do it. So the first case is to prepare VPD for the beacon company. As you can see here, I've already filled in the table with the employees involved and activities performed by them. To start, we can use a small circle here that represented the start or beginning of a process. As per question, during the weekly and rush orders, retail stores are going to review their inventory and place order when they run out of supplies. We can use this rounded edge rectangle over here that is used to represent an activity in a process. The explanation of the activity will be placed inside the rectangle. The arrow that is being used here is to indicate the flow of data and informations. After the order of the supplies have been placed, the shipping clerk will fill the order and authorize the delivery goods. Once again, we're gonna use the rounded edge rectangle shape and to fill in the information. After that, the retail stores will receive its tires and supplies that they need. Once again, we will use the arrow to show the flow of the information given. So the process in retail stores ended here. So we're gonna use a small bolded circle that is represent the end of a process. Next, we have the warehouse inventory control clerk, and once again we're gonna use the small circle shape to begin the process. First, the system will notify the inventory control clerk when the quantity on hand for an item stored in the central warehouse falls below designated reorder points, and they will prepare a purchase requisition. After that, the inventory control clerk will adjust the purchase requisition as needed, approve it, and forward it to the purchasing department. Again, we're gonna use the rounded edge rectangle to fill the informations. In the purchasing department, they're going to adjust the order or vendor selection as needed, approve it, and emails it to the vendor. A copy of the purchase order will be also sent to the accounts payable. So here we're gonna put three rounded edges rectangle shape to represent the process given. And again, we're gonna use the straight arrows to indicate the flows of the information. The process in purchasing department ended there, so again we're gonna use the small bolded circle to indicate that. In the warehouse receiving clerk, when the goods arrive, the receiving clerk will enter the date they arrive and the quantity of each item received. In the account payable department, they're gonna receive an electronic invoice that shows the goods shipped, the price, and total amount payable. And after that, they're gonna reviews and reconcile the vendor invoice, purchase order, and the receiving report. And then the vendor invoice will be paid within 10 days of the receipt of goods by electronically transferring the amount due to the vendor's bank account. And once again, we're gonna end the process in account payable department by using the small bolded circle shape. And also based on the question, on every quarterly basis, each retail stores will count its inventory at the end of every quarter and reconciles it to the corporate database. And also in the inventory control department, they are responsible for the maintenance of all perpetual inventory records, including quantity on hand, reorder point, optimum order quantity, and quantity on order for each item arrived. And this is how the complete business process diagram would look like. Now moving on to the second case, we are going to prepare a program flowchart to help Melanie. So to begin the flowchart, we're gonna use this shape over here called terminal. This symbol represents a beginning, end, or point of interruption in a process. So based on the question, Melanie is doing a study on various weight loss plan and need to determine an individual's weight status by calculating his or her body mass index. To store the weight and height of a person, we're gonna use one of the storage symbols over here, named journal and ledgers, which is a paper-based accounting journals and ledgers. Just like the previous business process diagram, the arrow over here indicate the direction of a processing or document flow. A normal flow is down and to the right. Next, the index is calculated by dividing a person weight by the square of his height. So we're gonna use one of the processing symbols named computer processing, which is a computer perform processing function, which is usually result in a change in data or information. Next is the result, and it will be put in a symbol named decision, that is to represent the decision making step. So if the BMI is less than 18.5, then the weight status will be underweight. Then if the BMI is less than 18.5, the next decision making is if the BMI is more than 25. If it's more than 25, then the weight status will be overweight. But when the BMI is less than 25, then the weight status will be normal. And again, we're gonna use all of these arrows to indicate the flow of the process. Next, we're gonna use a symbol named on page connector, which is to connect the processing flow on the same page. It uses its usage actually to avoid line crisscrossing on a page. To indicate the storage of this information, we're gonna use the same storage symbols from earlier. To complete the whole flowchart, we're gonna use the same symbol from the start, which is the terminal symbol, to indicate the end of the process. So this is how the completed flowchart would look like.